Well, I think everybody's excited that league play is starting. I think we're playing against a South Carolina team that Frank's teams always compete and play extremely hard. And certainly from last year, their personnel is entirely different. They've got some returning guys, but a lot of new faces that are playing well that are going to be really, really good players. I think they've played a very difficult schedule, so they've been tested throughout the course of the season, and we'll have a lot to get prepared for here these next 2 days.
Our first question is from Chip Howard of KZNE Radio and College Station.
Billy, you guys have been really good at home, and I know you play half on the road and half at home in league play, but how nice is it to be able to start league play at home?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all at the end of the day going to play itself out. You're going to play 9 at home and 9 away. I'm not so sure, what kind of difference it makes. Inevitably you're going to get some home games. You're going to have to go on the road and play. So, our first game is here at home, and then our second game is on the road. So, at the end of the day, it's all going to play itself out over 18 games.
How do you like overall where you are right now starting league play?
Well, I think for us it's been kind of, an evolution for our team, going back to our first game with having some guys out, injured, other issues. And I'd say here over the last few weeks we're starting to get to a full complement of players. I still think we can get better. We started out the season, I think, with very, very limited depth. Went to Wisconsin, I think, with 7 guys. Played a game without both point guards, Casey Hill and Scotty Wilbekin. We've had to do some different things. I think the break right around the holidays has helped us because we've had some time in between games to try to work on different lineups and try to get better and try to incorporate some different people who've come back to our team. I still think that we have room to grow and room to improve and get better, and I think that's always important.
Thank you.
Next up is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Good morning, Billy. Did you see any indications during pre-conference that maybe the league is ready to bounce back a little stronger this year as a whole?
The hardest part for me in the non-conference schedules, I don't get really a chance to see a lot of teams play. I really have not seen very much of our league. I know our league has played a very, very difficult non-conference schedule. I think the consensus is our league has improved and has gotten better. But for me to speak intelligently, on the league and on the whole, I would be doing the league a disservice just because I think I'm probably no different than most coaches. Once the season starts and you start playing, you're kind of focused on your team and you're focused on your next opponent. So I really haven't had a chance to watch many teams play at all.
Okay, and for you guys, game 2 at Arkansas, just have you got any advanced look at them? And recall the last couple of games here have been pretty big swings.
I haven't had a chance to see Arkansas play. Obviously, they're seem to be playing very well. They've always been terrific at home. It will be a great challenge for us going to Fayetteville. It's, I think, a great environment to play in. They've got a lot of guys returning, added some new players, but they're always a tough team to play at home.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up is Matthew Stevens of the Commercial Dispatch.
I'm curious about the transfer issue in college basketball and just how coaches are reacting to whether or not they've seen it as a problem for 15 years or do they think it has exploded over the last couple with the numbers kind of increasing every year?
Well, I think it's increased, every year. And I think a lot of it is I think we've made some good strides as it relates to, really being able to communicate, a little bit more. I think one of the things that's happened now is for a lot of these players and even kids of this generation, so much of it is done electronically through text messages and emails. And I think in a lot of ways the recruiting has kind of changed, and sometimes kids' expectations coming in as freshmen, there's a little bit more of a shorter fuse, so to speak, in terms of kids maybe battling through the ups and downs of having a freshman year and maybe not going as well as expected. I think because of Twitter and the easy access after game, I think players today are dealing with a whole lot more than what most guys dealt with 25 years ago. And I think you're seeing probably a lot of kids when they don't have immediate success. A lot of times the solution, the answer is to move and change their environment or their scenery. And I think that will continue on. I think that will happen. Obviously, we've got some guys here in our program who have transferred. And I just think that's kind of the way of college basketball. And I think a lot of times, when kids are transferring, I don't think it has anything to do a lot of times with the coach that's coaching them or the school as much as has to do with just playing time or their role. And I think sometimes kids come into college wanting a specific role, specific minutes, and I think when those things are not met for whatever reason, I think it's easier now for kids to make a change.
Your knee-jerk reaction to Mark Emmert maybe wanting to limit the transfer waivers to get kids immediately eligible?
I don't think that would be a good idea, just to allow kids to jump from school to school without having the opportunity to sit out. I think with the extenuating circumstances, whether you maybe have a player that's far away from home and has a family member that's ill that wants to get back home to be closer, I understand that. I'm not in favor of the rule where a guy graduates, after 3 years, that he should be allowed to go anywhere he wants to leave and just go play. I think that they should have to sit out. I don't think that would be a good thing, in my opinion, for guys just to be able to pick up and leave and be able to go to the next place and just play. Because what's to change a kid maybe transferring 2 or 3 times? But it hasn't worked here. I'm going to go here and play next year. I'm going to go here and play next year. I don't know what Mark Emmert's, what his feeling is behind all that, but, I would not be in favor of that. I think the other thing, too, is I think when a guy does transfer, I think when a guy gets into a new environment, new situation, there is a lot to be said for a guy sitting out and having to go to school and having to learn a new system and having to practice and compete without having the pressure to go out and perform and earn playing time, and a guy can really focus on getting better and improving.